And we are off. I'm leaving forever. Goodbye.
That's a lie, Uncle.
Pretty much forever. But look at that, we get synced hearts as we walk out the door. So, Link-a-Lot, what's your favorite standard weapon?
If I'm playing, it is hammer. Actually, no, bow. I like bow the best to start with. If I'm commentating, I like to see something like Kane O'Brien.
I am definitely the biggest fan of the Cane of Samaria, I think. An item that gets underappreciated because of how late you get it in the game. But we will see what our uncle was brought into the well with him. And that's a hammer.
We get the nice whole hammer, so one part of Dark World access already. Thanks, Uncle.
For probably why I dislike it is because it takes a little bit of the climacticness out of getting yourself into Dark World. But speaking of some potential fun, there's a shovel.
Yeah, early shovel, but there's going to be bomb tension just because we have a hammer we can kill pretty much everything. That does not mean a bomb is going to drop. Whoops, that was a quick map check. I thought I saw a pendant up on Hera, and we had just regular crystals on Eastern and Desert.
And looking at the restream, I saw that. I concur with those findings. So we'll see what we go through as we make our way through the escape sequence with the oneup40 and the Zora taking just a little bit of a lead right in the early game as Finalflame decided to kill a few more guards outside.
Yep, and also the map check as well, so... But who knows, maybe he'll get the bomb and oneup won't, and we'll see what happens. The fun part of standard seeds.
Well, first off, just a key and a key. See if we can't find that bomb to get us those 3 checks in the back of the escape sequence right away. As opposed to having to come back when it has some other logic tied to it.
I mean, technically there's no logic actually behind it in standard. It's available from the very beginning. It does not require a lamp or the gloves because you get the free light cone. So all 3 items are immediately within logic from the word go.
You just need to have that bomb hopefully drop. But so far, just a few sticks on go.
Speaking of bomb, Finalflame got his bomb.
Well, we do know that there is a bomb in the prize pack, so hopefully oneup40 will find his way to it. Alright, oneup40 is down to the battle with the ball and chain guard. Just gonna go ahead and hammer it in the face. 2 swings, it's down, and there's our big key. There's our blue mail from Zelda's cell, and we're out of here.
Yeah, not gonna say no to an early blue mail.
No, absolutely. Just a little bit of extra safety as you make it through the early games. We've gotten a Herculean. That's a 4-bomb pack on Finalflame's side. So those price packs of those green guards.
Yeah, I mean, the 1 bomb is nice, because then you can check Kakariko, but that 4-bomb drop, you've got all your bombs for Kakariko already now, so you don't have to worry about bombs anymore, probably.
Not for quite a while. It does feel good to walk out of there. Hopefully oneup40 will find a bomb pack somewhere along the way.
Yeah, he's probably going to do a little bit more farming in the sewers with the ropes and rats, but we'll see.
But it is interesting with the hammer having to chase down the true final boss of the escape sequence, the key rat, as if when you have to sit there and slowly whack that hammer down, maybe it'll run away on you.
Yeah, oneup is still just kind of running by everything, not killing anything. So it's probably gambling on the sewer. And another bomb off the green guards.
Good lord, those green guards definitely kept packing some explosives there. I didn't know that grenades were part of the standard green guard armament package.
Their armaments are randomized apparently as well. All the bombs.
Oh, if you're a runner, you like it. So oneup40 not banking on that quite yet. We'll see if hopefully that bomb comes their way. Though there is a chance that it could be in the sewer chest here, but there's a bomb.
Yep, he's got at least his one. Considering how he was skipping all the green guards, I have a feeling we're not going to see many more kills. He's just going to run straight for the back now.
And there's just a piece of heart from the dark chest. Thankfully, we will get to see both runners pick up the 3 items in the back of the escape.
Yep, I believe we are still looking for a map, so we'll see maybe if we can just skip Sanctuary Chest as well. Oh, 8-bomb drop off the rat. And there's another one. Canis Maria, we got a nice early one.
Alright, so it looks like both of us did get some of the items that we wanted to see, just at different times. We'll have a little bit of magic to use that cane for some of the for some enemies if they decide to want to be that.
Yeah, maybe some of the more annoying enemies, like when we go to Mini Moldorm Cave. I know killing those with the hammer is not a very enjoyable task. Canis Maria is not so bad though.
Yeah, you can throw those blocks and blow them up. And we will check the chest because I did see the map, and unfortunately, just $20. 1UP40 is going to be the first one out of the escape plans. It's out of the escape at 6:06. Pretty good time considering how little farming it is. Just not too much further behind on Finalflame side. And looks like 1UP40 is heading over to the left. We'll see if they go forest first or village first, and they're going directly to the forest.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. If we got full bombs, the only thing you're kind of really looking for early right now is potentially some rupees to pay off the bottleneck. But you've got plenty of chances in Kakariko for that.
Alright, and just hearts off the tier 1 triple, but it looks like Finalflame is going to go ahead and see if Aghanim is required for an item here. And setting up the tree pull, which, as we know, is just a single heart. And there, we have some lifts right away growing in their natural habitat in the Thieves Cave.
Looks like hearts on the bush crab as well, so we are looking for just Moon Pearl. And we've got Dark World access already.
7 minutes in, and unfortunately this time just a single rupee from Lumberjack, so no Aghanim quite yet. However, we don't know that for sure.
Yeah, unless this game just wants to be really mean and give you this early, looking like early Dark World access just to make you look for the Moon Pearl somewhere else, like on the pyramid or some silly thing like that.
Oh, absolutely. We will see where this all leads. But first, let's make our way into the Thieves' Hut and see what 5 items we have here so far. Just a piece of art and our second glove upgrade. 300 rupees. Another 300 rupees. We're rich. We're strong.
So I think I see what the game is doing. So, you know, Titan's Mitts are normally in Thieves Town, and this is Blind's hideout. So he's a thief. He's got the mitts, and he's got all the rupees that he stole as well.
It did, however, give us a bit of a Zora care package, as that's one of the 2 gloves plus enough money to go pay off the ransomer. All right, Kakariko. Well, starting off with just $20. We've got more than enough. We've almost to the point where we've got all the money we could possibly need for this seed as another big 20 drops on us. $5, a 20, and 3 blueberries.
Yeah, I think at this point we do have all the rupees now with what we found there, because 500 potentially for Zora. We've got the 110 for Kiki the monk. Chest game, and digging game. Oh, there's 100 there. So we're still, you know, maybe like 50 or so. So,
feels good to have almost all your money in the early games. You expect to find at least a few more big 20s along the way. As there are just so many of those in the prize pools. We get another piece of heart from the chicken hut. Not the most Kakariko quite yet, but feels good to walk out early game with a hammered Titan's Mitts in hand. Now we're just looking for that glass ball of darkness.
And OneUp's gonna go check library as well as race game. We'll see if he remembers he's got that shovel and go check that right away as well.
I do like the holding pose on the Sonic sprite. Shoutouts to those sprite makers out there. So many great sprites added in version 30, and I definitely am assuming more to come when the next version comes out.
Just bombs in the race game. So, yep, 1UP is gonna go check the shovel.
I think at this point you just do it. The only thing I could say, I mean, with those gloves, you could see maybe coming from the Link's house side, but at this point you can just walk from here to the dam.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to just not see a save and quit like you normally would, just 20 bucks. And yep, just gonna walk to the dam with pretty much the same amount of time with gloves.
Since we don't have to worry about those gloves. For those asking about the mode, we are in standard defeat Ganon for the final week of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. So no cross keys, no inverted, nothing crazy, just go through the escape sequence and kill Ganon. And Finalflame is going to dive the race game only to find he get it for 3 blueberries. As we find a swag net to the dam. And Finalflame just says, yeah, you know what, forget those blueberries, I'm out of here. Alright, the water released from the dam, we will see what was flooded underneath. Just a piece of heart. So we're gonna move on over to Mini Moldorm Cave. See what other plethora of items we may find in this early game. So where do you think that Moon Pearl is going to be hiding, Sir Lancelot?
I think I'm gonna actually say a place we don't have access to yet. Let's say Checkerboard Cave.
Because if you did find the flute and the mirror. I do like the thought of bunny walk logic, and here we go, flippers and lamp, 50 bucks. Blueberries, and 300. So we're stacked on cash, we can swim. And we can see in the dark.
Yeah, I think it's time to go pay a visit to Zora.
I'm gonna say the flute's on Zora so we could get our checkerboard cave on. And find the mirror somewhere on Death Mountain, which we have quite a bit of access to right now. And there's just so many checks available to us right now with Titan's Mitts and Hammer in hand. And the lamp puts almost all the mountain in logic.
We're missing a hookshot or a hammer to really get a lot of information up there. Right now it would just be kind of old man.
Or excuse me, the mirror was locking a bit of that, or a hookshot.
More rubies.
How about a vanilla mirror?
That would be fun.
So we're rich, we're strong, we can see, we can swim. What's holding us back at this point?
No. Question in chat, is egg completable? No. We still need at least 2 swords or a sword and cape.
Because we do have to clear the barrier away from the door to Aga, and we need either the cape to go under it, or 2 swords to break it, plus at least 1 sword to cut down the curtains. So we are many, many pieces away from Aga logic and a lot more checks before we're even thinking it. Alright, kid. What even are you? Thanks for the visit. Have a shield.
Maybe that was his dinner plate.
Why don't you clean this off for me? Pot lid. I appreciate that. The pot lid shield.
Shout out to Dragon Quest. Looks like that was just 10 arrows on Lake Hylia Island.
So I don't think we will be mirroring for that anytime soon. Alright, here we are up to the Zora area. We'll see what is in the Waterfall of Wishing. And no bottle to check the free refills.
Just 20 bucks and more bombs.
Well, Well, we definitely have supplies for this seed. We're just missing a few more arrow drops to really have the full supply theme going. But you never know. Perhaps King Zora has some artisanal arrows. As we see, just 20 bucks on the ledge. So it's a long walk. The 1UP40, the Zora returning home to see the king. Coming to bring tribute from the spoils of his quest. We will see what the king rewards him with.
Maybe he's just trying to steal the rupees so nobody else can afford King Zora.
And he gets a life lesson. Big money.
So, let's see. Checks, we've got Eastern area and Agina, I think, is all we have. And then the little bit in Death Mountain. We've got 2 checks on Death Mountain right now.
So it looks like Eastern seems to be the play on 1UP's mind.
It's the most items for the least amount of time. It just makes sense.
And we'll see, perhaps, if we talk to Sahasrara to see a little bit of the spoilers in the green pendant. I don't think we'll see it in this mode. Alright, what is in the sage's closet today? 10 sticks, piece of heart, and another piece of heart. As Finalflame gets their life lesson, 1UP40 is heading into Eastern Palace.
I mean, if you want trolls in Swamp, we could just put Hookshot in like vanilla big chest.
I do love me some vanilla problems. We'll see what is in Eastern Palace, while Finalflame seems to be thinking something a little different. He's heading up the mountain.
Yeah, and this isn't really a waste of time because you're getting the save point regardless. And there is a hint up here as well. So there's 2 items plus the hint, and you're going to do this anyways.
Absolutely, there's no real wrong way to loot this, to route this early game, even though one may end up being more correct because of where items drop, but that's Randomizer for ya.
Ragemon 999 settings are just a standard kill Ganon.
Yeah, standard defeat Ganon, normal difficulty, randomized swords.
No Kisanity this week. But yeah, we got the red meringue.
And a $20 chip for bringing the old man home. Thanks for helping me across the street. Cave thing. No, actually, Samaria was in the back of Escape. Hammer was the uncle item.
There's our big key, so we still could clear out Eastern Palace depending on what's in the big chest.
Alright, and there's 10 sticks on the top of Spectral Rock, and that brings us to a unique item is in Misery Mire.
That is what it said.
Alright, so one of those checks is a unique item. Yay!
Nope, no, a map, so there's an item going to be on Armos.
Hello!
And there's our Moon Pearl.
Finalflame coming up with the right call there. As we find out that a piece of heart requires the hammer. And with that, Moon Pearl in hand, they have a lot more of the world just opened up to Finalflame.
Yeah, maybe you find something major in the back here of Eastern Palace still. But yeah, definitely you're not going to find anything as important as the Moon Pearl right now.
And yes, chat has confirmed, and so can I, that that's the end of the first sorcerer. It looks like Finalflame is heading over towards the Village of Outcasts in Skullwoods area. Seems to be the right call with this the bevy of items. We'll see, though, if 1UP40 does find something in this final checkable chest, and the answer to that is no. Eastern Palace, try.
Yep, time to go to the Dark World. 1UP's probably going to be right behind, going to head up to Death Mountain himself.
Especially considering where they have save and quit to. As we see our map check, we have a 5 crystal in Skull Woods, pendants on Mire, and the Ice Palace, and I believe that final red crystal was in Turtle Rock.
Yep, and green pendant was Mire, so we've got a unique item in a pendant Mire that's also green. Boy.
Oof. However, there's no guarantee that the unique item is useful, though we've seen one fetch quest and the swag net so far. That single arrow still out there, though.
Yes, indeed. I guess the question is, if you're running, you see that hint, unique item in Misery Mire, then you see that Misery Mire is now a pendant. Do you want to see the flute at this point?
I think you do not want to see the flute. There's no flute, no access, so no need to worry about that. Finalflame clearing their way through Skull Woods as oneup40 is going to make their mountain climb and find their moon pearl.
Assuming that the rocks and the dead rocks don't kill him first.
Got a dangerous mountain climb in his hand. Ooh, watch out for that cabbage. Alright, and Finalflame is setting up the bomb jump without a sword. Pulled off beautifully, just eroded with one of the items in this dungeon, but unfortunately, just 20 bucks. And there's oneup40's moon pearl and the information that a piece of heart requires the hammer. So he's out, and he's on to the Dark World.
Yep, and our tracker keeping track of everything as well as the items. We found both items in Skullwood, so there's nothing more in there except that crystal we need.
I guess I missed that check. It looks like oneup40 is going to diverge a little bit, and he's going to head to the cave formerly known as Hype. We'll see what kind of cave we have in there. Chef's Gate giving us 50 bucks and 10 sticks. Having walked a long way around because of the lack of cutting materials. Alright, let's get our hypes up. We got magic powder, the hook shot, 10 sticks, the heart container, and a bottle.
So I am going to reserve judgment on Hype Cave right now because we have 2 fetch quests from it.
2 fetch quests and a lot of checks opened up to our runners just now. Who wants to see all of Death Mountain now?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, all of it, with the exception of Turtle Rock, is available.
Unless a medallion comes along the way. Meanwhile, Finalflame is into Thieves Town. Starting with just 20. Stumpy's got silvers.
I missed what was in Brewery. I'm sure we are going to see it shortly on oneup side. There was a flute.
Uh-oh. There's a unique item in Green Pendant Mire. And we found the silvers. So, of unique items, we've got a bow, a boomerang, single arrow, mushroom, boots, two rods,
both rods,
cape, cane of Burna.
There's a lot of stuff that could be in Mire right now. But we still won't be able to get into Mire anyways because we're missing medallions.
And we need at least one coin to open the door and a sword to make it work. Because, as you know, you need a sword to make a coin work. It is known.
My mentality is still thinking about entrance. I was like, why'd you skip the archery game? You need to check this. Like, oh wait, no, we don't. We don't need money.
That's one thing. There's one thing in the seed we do not need, and that's money. Because we in this early game picked up what, double what we need to complete the seed at least.
Yeah, definitely. We just got some bombs in the brewery, so nothing important there.
Baby, they got your money. Don't you worry. Meanwhile, Jeremiah's on the loose on oneup40 side.
Yeah, which is going to kind of hurt a little bit, because I'm sure we're going to see oneup check this. He's going to check CS and probably save and quit to turn in Jeremiah, but it's not going to be able to go into Thieves Town.
He will be able to go into Thieves Town. I guess he can't. But even
Jeremiah
if he did,
says no.
one of the few places that Jeremiah won't go. He's not nearly as fickle of a follower as that purple chest.
That purple chest will not go anywhere.
It was interesting to see a second piece of heart requires the hammer hint out there. That could be referring to two different locations.
I'm still missing the small key, so it's possible that that small key is locked behind itself.
Unless it turns up in the cell chest, because blind cannot have the key.
It's next chest or it's in the big chest.
It's next chest or never to be seen.
Chet does bring up a good point, though. If he's thinking about it with the bottle and the powder, he can route both of those while he's here now.
Maybe he can knock off a couple of those fetch quests. Then he can just walk into the Dark World afterward and then dive Thieves Town. Hopefully it gets lucky. Sorry, so what kind of craftsman do we have today? It looks like we have just a Dwarven Mint today.
They're actually a scam, too, as you give him 10 rupees for that.
Perhaps it'll have some uncirculated value down the road.
Alright, Magic Bat. Will you increase the value of Hype Cave today?
You've awoken me from my slumber. Today I shall curse thee with $300. You're rich. As we find a medallion on Finalflame side.
Yeah, so nice, important stuff. And that, you know, we could be a sword away, potentially. We'll see what Mire is when they travel.
Maybe a while before they get there. And also oneup40 will be... Actually, no. Where did that flute come from?
Flute came from in here in Thieves Town.
Oh, that's right. So you won't be able to turn on the flute quite yet, but Finalflame will when they leave, and here comes that blind fight. Also, no key, so no big chest.
Yep, Sick Kid just had 20 rupees.
What is this, inverted? Hammer blind?
Nah, he's got 6 hearts.
Oh, that's right. Oh, well, he had 6 hearts. Start moving blind. We'll have to be careful. No safety is available to him.
One hit now.
Perhaps Kano Samaria?
Oh.
Interesting to choose to opt into Hammer Blind when you have the Kano Samaria.
And I don't think... I'm pretty sure he found all 4 items. Yes, because we saw 20 rupees there on one upside. We found ether and flute here as well, and then we saw the 10 arrows and the top. So it's just gonna have to run it back in here quickly to kill blind later.
One has a little bit better, more easier equipment to work with. All right, now between 1 and 30 strikes the earth will cause Alec Baldwin to cough up his prize. I do love the game theme. I think it's underappreciated.
It is nice.
And with that, we find a shield, which Finalflame pick up, and oneup decided, nope, I'm not interested.
Finalflame might actually be wishing he had that just a little bit ago. That might have helped on that blind fight.
You know, it just may have.
believe Finalflame is going to pick up Jeremiah the Bullfrog, and he's going to go on a world tour. Nope, never mind. Oh. Where is he taking Jeremiah? Oh, he's going to do hammer pegs.
Curious you didn't decide to do that later, but hammer away we will. Alright, so what is behind these hammer pegs? Just a piece of heart, but they'll take it.
I'm still sitting at 6 hearts, so not going to turn your nose up at that.
I mean, you already went through all the trouble of knocking down all those hammer pegs, you may as well take your prize.
Finalflame going back to Kakariko is going to activate that flute, turn in the smiths. One up going through Thieves Town.
We'll see if one-up's date with Blind goes a little bit better. They will be coming in with more maximum potential health, but no easier items to fight with. As we look at the left on Finalflame's side, as we serenade the swag duck. Always brings a little tear to my eye as we find a bold coin on one-up side. And with the duck amok, we'll see how disappointed that Finalflame is when they find out they're walking into a dwarven mint. Alright, and on the right side of our screen, oneup40 is going to go ahead and opt into the hammer fight. So far the first phase goes a little bit cleaner. Only took one hit and managed to get all three before he went down to the bottom of the screen. Definitely seems pretty practiced on this hammer fight. $20 on the desert ledge. Has to be careful now, but takes him down.
I was going to say, he seems to be getting away a little bit, but he clutched it out and finished it.
32 minutes in, that's our first crystal via Thieves Town. Finalflame into the Mire area, and we can go find a unique item in a green pendant dungeon.
Not quite.
Almost.
We need the pointy object still.
We need something sharp. And it's not there.
Some of that game, you disappointed me. I was really hoping that just a sword would pop up right there. Be like, whoa! About that sword.
Unfortunately, the key was not under the mat this time. Alright, so, Finalflame, what are you thinking? Looks like they're thinking Hype Cave.
Yeah, with Finalflame's routing, this makes the most sense. They did kind of... We'll see if they remember Stumpy. Because Stumpy is a little isolated at this point, and that's where Silvers is hiding.
I guess it really depends on how versed you feel in your Ganon fight, and then of course what swords get spit out during this game. Considering we have not actually seen any swords yet. 35 minutes in, and Finalflame walks into their fairly hype cave. I mean, a hook shot in a bottle feels pretty good.
Yeah, don't forget the powder.
Especially when it comes with a fairy. Well, unfortunately, the powder just came up with nothing except for the ability to turn anti-fairies into fairies.
Yeah, but you're not going to say no to that safety. Make some of those last dungeons in Ganon's Tower much more manageable, especially if you're on low health.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, Finalflame looks like he is heading towards Stumpy, so should pick up Silvers here.
And they'll be glad they did. I imagine perhaps saving Quit to the Mountain may follow this.
Yeah, that would actually make a lot of sense.
For those asking chat, this is just a standard defeat Ganon seed. It's the final week of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. Unfortunately, both these teams out of playoff contention, but still finishing their matches out and playing with pride. As we have some issues turned in on the purple chest as we hit our flute a little early, but just a piece of heart.
Just kind of left it at Gary's feet, and it's like, nah, I'm good. But no, Finalflame is actually going ahead, looks like, to the Pyramid Pod area.
Interesting routing decision. Suppose perhaps they think there's no better time for them, considering they had to burn the time to walk over to Stumpy, as a 1-up gets their confirmation that their Bolt Coin opens up their unique item in Green Pendant Mire, once they find something sharp. I know one of the 5-6 was Turtle Rock. The tracker looks a little odd today.
Speaking of Turtle Rock, who wants an Ice Rod?
That is indeed the Ice Rod on the Pyramid of Power. The other 5-6 is Skullwoods.
Alright, so Finalflame is going to skip Pod, at least right now. It's heading over to Catfish.
We'll see if one of our two giant fish comes up with something, as oneup40 has decided there's a lot of Death Mountain to check. That's where I'm going now.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising Finalflame decided to kind of go this route with so many items available up here, but finding the Ice Rod and the location of the Ice Rod, it could be a while before you see 1-up actually go to the pyramid, because there's really nothing pulling you there, except when you get the 5-6 crystals, but 5-6 crystal is Turtle Rock, so you're not going to be able to see the pyramid until you have that Ice Rod anyways.
Absolutely. Perhaps Finalflame thinking just going for a low percent route and hoping for something big. And there's a lot of potential for that to be fairly big. So see just a bottle of green goo as we find the bow in Paradox Cave. 2 more items left to check, $50 and a piece of heart, but finding the bow, that's Eastern Palace opened up to us to be completed, and 1-up's already been through most of it, so it may be a while before they head back there.
That's more than just Eastern Palace, that's Pod as well.
Ooh boy. Now we have a full clear of the Palace of Darkness available to us as Finalflame is back to Kakariko just to turn in their bottle with the sick kid. So that is a lot of checks available to us yet. We've got Tower of Hera we can complete, we have Pod we can complete, we have Eastern we can complete. So many dungeons.
And we'll see if you decide to finish or check the basement, because Hera is one of our pendants.
Now it does have 2 of our hint tiles in the game. So we'll see what information, if anything, we can gain, and thankfully for at least for progressing up the tower, we won't need the check of the coffee.
Finalflame gets his items from Magic Bat and Sick Kid, saves and quits, and he is going up the mountain as well. So 1 item of Desert Palace is just some cat.
And a burrito. Alright, and heading further up the Tower of Hera, while Finalflame is now on the mountain. We'll pick up their bow in just a moment. We'll see if they decide to burn some time into this pendant dungeon, or if it pays off on 1-up side. Here's a compass. And, oh good. The purple chest has a piece of heart in it. It's not like we've...
The bad fall.
Down, down, down they go. Where'd they stop? Well, 2nd floor.
Finalflame about to pick up their bow.
And we'll see what they decide to do with it. Where they decide to go next. Looks to be a good bomb jump setup there. And they're clearing over. Looks like oneup40 is going to cut their losses and take the intended route.
And surprisingly, even go up here, he technically has hook shot as well, so he could have just hook shot across too.
He takes a tumble regardless. Or if he does that, he has to go back downstairs and then back up.
Well, there's one item, got bombs, so that means Troll Dorm is either going to hold our second item, or he's going to be even more of a troll and hold the key.
I don't know if he was. I think oneup was double checking their item count more so than reaching for a mirror. As Finalflame is going to go ahead and check Spiral Cave, and I think they may decide to go to Super Bunny afterward.
Yeah, we'll see if he decides to walk back up, or is just going to kind of say no to Hera being a pendant.
Well, thus far, looking to be good, but we'll see what Troll Dorm has.
That's a key.
Oof. Says screw the pendant and takes the 2-floor fall. Now, if something's on pedestal, that is something I have not seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why you don't technically need it, but you might. Oh, he's just not even going to. He's not even checking it.
Interesting decision on their part. We'll see if that... And we don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. There's still 2 huge question marks.
Yeah, we don't know if we need pedestal, and we don't know if we need the basement.
You get a piece of heart and a magic cape.
Which I don't believe. Did either runner actually check Bumper Cave?
I don't believe we have, but that also gives us access to Spike Cave.
This is true.
And I imagine Finalflame may be their last checkup on the mountain here.
And we're gonna find out if we need another medallion. We sure do. We need a bombos.
Alright, so we need a fire coin to open that up.
Math Girl, I would say do not mark it because he didn't pick the pendant up.
I'll admit this is some interesting strategies I wouldn't think to see. Leaving the pendant behind.
Alright, so Dark Death Mountain. We technically skipped Spike Cave, have access to it. We're not going to it yet. But other than that, Dark Death Mountain, other than that cape and the bow, those were kind of the 2 big things.
Curious decision to leave that behind. Perhaps just not wanting to spend all of their magic right now. Or perhaps one of the things is like, oh, I just got the cape. Spike? Nah.
Yep, Finalflame gonna do probably the best option for him right now. He hasn't been here at all yet. He's gonna check Sahasrahla, go to Eastern. He's gonna clear Eastern, and then probably right to pot after.
It is a good question. Does Moldorm respawn?
I believe he does. I'm not sure. Okay, so since he picked up the prize from Moldorm, the pendant will just drop when he answers. Okay.
Okay. This is one of those scenarios you don't think about often.
Yeah, typically you kill the boss. I mean, you just pick up the prize, because...
It's interesting to go up to the top, receive nothing from the boss, and then just decide to tumble out and leave, as opposed to pulling that final item.
I mean, it is a... quite a time sink having to go through the title room. Actually, no. Oh yeah, no, we have a lamp. I was like, we don't have a fire source. We do. I guess it's a time sink. Plus, he might think, I went into Eastern, nothing was there, and I found the moon pearl where I maybe thinks that, if he found the moon pearl earlier, he's been here a bit longer and been able to do all this stuff way earlier than I have.
Perhaps. It looks like oneup40. They're heading to the Eastern Palace pod area, but they're going to start with pods since they've already gone through most of Eastern.
Yeah, there is an item in Eastern, so who knows? He could also... This doesn't technically hurt too much. He might be hoping, there's a chance I might find the mirror in pod.
I don't think there's a wrong way to do it, considering he's already been in Eastern. Though I do think, had he not visited this area at all, Finalflame's routing ends up being more ideal.
There's not too much of a time difference, because the most you have to do on one upside if you don't find a mirror is save and quit, and then just flute back to 5 and walk up to Eastern Palace. So either way, you're making that trip from Eastern Palace to the portal. So
it's an interesting spawn point on that top Stelphos.
and Stelphos does not want to die.
No, he just wanted to, all that Stelphos wanted was a hug. And he gave lots of hugs.
Yep. And pod is bow locked.
Not that these runners care.
Nope, yeah. Good thing they checked Death Mountain first and we have that bow.
As we find the magical burrito. Alright, so off to the bow lock side we go on oneup40 side. We'll get to see our hint tile.
Oh boy.
Hello.
I believe that is a fetch quest you are going to do.
That is, of course, if we find the mushroom. There's no guarantee.
This is true. We do have 2 possibilities, though, that we need those boots.
We have not seen either of them yet.
Oh, one we won't see until the very end of the game. The other one, whenever we get to Desert, we'll find out.
Ooh, now isn't that just a fun scenario? What if the GT Big Key is on the torch and the mushroom's on Ice Armos?
Oh boy.
I like that thinking. I mean, I don't because that's rude, but I do.
I mean, I could think of worse places to put the mushroom.
It just feels like more of a kick in the teeth than anything else.
I mean, yeah, but I'm sure, a worse place for the runners, but our tracker, it's her favorite room. That would be a good place for the mushroom.
Ah. Perhaps this is some tracking lore I'm not familiar with.
Mathgirl always votes for number 22.
Aha. Well, thankfully, since we are out of key sanity, we will get to play our game today.
Yes, the game is back.
I'm excited. All right, blink and you miss it, folks. Believe it or not, there is a boss in this room.
I'm claiming that first are a little too quick. Oh, the book.
Well, the Armos Knights have imparted with us some knowledge. Alright, and with that, and imagine Finalflame is probably going to follow oneup40 to head into the Palace of Darkness.
Yeah, definitely. Fully clearable, completely within logic. You've got hammer, bow, and lamp. There's no reason you're not doing this. Probably just flute to 5 to make it quicker.
Oh, that flute. Making things just slightly more He's going to follow his book. Interesting decision on their part.
Oh, the mirror. One of them gets bailed out with the mirror in pod.
Well, take a look. It's in a book. We're in a desert palace on Finalflame's side.
So So that book then not, unless something is on the tablets, not too important, because with that mirror, that's our access to desert anyways.
Interesting decision on Finalflame's side to follow that book right away. Especially when we know where the boots are. You know, kind of, anyway.
Not that I've seen Meth grow. I think it's just been that mirror so far. Still looking for a sword, though, 50 minutes in. Alright, so Big Key is there, so...
The boss is not boots locked.
No, he is not.
But are items potentially boots locked? They are.
They are indeed.
The lab is a mini Moldorm cave. Oh, thanks.
You don't say. Alright, so... Math Girl letting us know Helmet is going to have a map.
And
that's a compass, so...
And that's confirmation that key is locking something, potentially.
Yep, at least one item, potentially two. I'm sure we are going to see Finalflame go kill Landmolus.
If nothing else, they'll have this dungeon cleared, and if nothing comes up on that right side, it's not the worst routing decision ever. Though, had they decided to go to pod first, they would have the mirror to go ahead and just do all the other checks here. And as we shake the ground in the Palace of Darkness, Finalflame on the left side is heading down to the Landmolus.
Actually, I just thought about this. Do you know what the mirror also opened up for us?
Could it be a Swamp Palace?
It's indeed a Swamp Palace.
That's a lot of items in Swamp Palace. A lot of items indeed. Though, I mean, chat's answer was pretty good too.
It's not Taco Tuesday yet.
I mean, it almost isn't like Nova Scotia.
I guess in Europe it is.
Well, 3 Landmolas, 3 silver arrows. Blink and you missed it. That fight's over. Meanwhile, oneup40 hammering out their differences with the Helmasaur King. If he just holds still and take his silver skewer. So we did get one of the items of Desert Palace off of the Landmolas of being a big 20. And there's the confirmation of a compass on the Helmasaur King.
Right, and Finalflame is also going to check Agina's Cave, which, if I'm not mistaken, neither runner has checked this yet.
Nope, this is indeed our first visit to the Desert Hermit. And Shadow's bringing up that point. Here we are, 53 minutes in, and nobody's feeling sharp. There's a little bit of disrespect dropped on Finalflame's side.
I was going to say, I kind of hope an item is in this chest, just so he feels bad about that. But no, just a piece of heart. Agina probably deserves the disrespect.
Alright, with that, Finalflame is back to their house, and looks like they're heading into the Dark World.
I'm actually surprised to not see him go to pod at this point.
And honestly, he really needs to.
Like, I'm actually trying to think where he's going from here. Unless he's going from pod from the south. No. Oh, maybe he was thinking Swamp Palace at first, was like, wait a second, I have no mirror yet.
So I do have to go to pod, and unfortunately now I have to take a bit of a walk, because I'm locked here. Just a small bit of metagaming yourself, and it's a little bit of time just kind of giving up for free to oneup40.
Yeah, and right now Finalflame still has to go back into Thieves Town to go blind, so really don't want to give up that much time if you have an advantage.
Every little bit giving oneup40 a little bit more time here. So I guess the question on my mind is, where is oneup40 going to go next?
I feel like he's going to make the same play that Finalflame made, but with the mirror instead. So he's going to check. He'll be able to check Checkerboard Cave at the very least, as well as he'll just go in and clear desert. Because it's a crystal dungeon. You know where the boots are at this point. You just need the mushroom. So, you know, getting that knowledge, you know, how important is the mushroom before Ganon's Tower at this point?
We do know it's locking one item in Desert Palace. What that item is? Who knows?
He made a fool out of me. Looks like he's going to Swamp Palace then.
I agree with this play, as there are very few places as unique item dense as Swamp Palace, or not dungeon item dense. Gonna go ahead and take the short swim down. So with that, though, that kind of isolates the pyramid and catfish for oneup40, I would think.
It does, and that ice rod. I mean, we know catfish has nothing, but the ice rod is sitting on the pyramid, so that's Finalflame's big advantage, right?
We'll see how long it remains one. So it may be a long time before oneup40 makes their way to that part of the world.
Yeah, I mean, potentially, Mire at this point, kind of with everything we had, Mire was definitely where our progression was. So something is either going to be in Swamp or behind one of our other Mire locations, which we're looking at. K45, Graveyard Ledge, those are kind of the big ones. Oh, Ice Rod's in plain sight, so that might help him figure out where he needs to go, though.
I see, like, just thinking of what's left for in plain sight locations for him. It's just the pyramid in K45 is all I can think of.
It would also be Graveyard Ledge, so it's those Mire locations.
So the hint system may have come to bail him out just a little bit there.
Nice early big key.
Not
Bumper Ledge, that is also plain sight. Thank you, chat.
So that's 4 items, and nobody has been up to the Ledge of Bumpers yet. But he does have the cape.
Bolt runners have the cape. We have not gotten a check on that, so that could very well be a major progression item that's been sitting there.
I think it may be a while before they check it, because they may be hoping to find an ice rod before they do so.
I guess the question is, if you're 1-up and you don't find anything here in Swamp Palace, where do you route then? Because you could go to K45, check that, then go up through Village of Outcasts and check both Bumper Cave as well as Graveyard Ledge. Those would be the most of your items.
Don't forget the Bombos tablet as well. Actually, we can't do that without swords.
You could at least check it to see what's on there.
Hey, so we can read it, but we can't grab it. It's just an interesting conundrum. Almost an hour in, and we have nothing sharp.
Nope, so everybody, unless we find a couple swords in Swamp Palace, I hope you're ready for some menu boss.
So what I find interesting is we may be looking toward a sword go mode, the way this is shaking out.
Yeah, because as far as technically dungeon go mode, other than a sword to get into Turtle Rock, I think we are just looking for bombos and fire rods. So Ice Palace might not even, we might not even have to dip inside of Ice Palace at this point.
I don't know, if you're watching races earlier today.
Vetman, Finalflame has Ice Rod. It is sitting on the pyramid. He picked that up. 1-up does not have Ice Rod. He kind of isolated the pyramid at this point.
However, the hint tile in Swamp Palace did let him know that the Ice Rod is sitting somewhere in plain sight. And if he's versed in his hint tiles, he'll know that Pyramid Ledge is one of those locations. And
there's
there,
a fire rod, though.
Well, definitely feels good to have that. have that locked away and not picked up and not on the left side. We'll see if we even end up there.
It does feel good, but then you think about what it opens up.
Well, as far as OneUp's concerned, it's just the tower, the Skull Woods. Though he does know that somewhere he should have access to the ice rod.
It also opens up Ice Palace.
Oh boy!
A pendant Ice Palace.
I mean, and there is still that whole pendant misery mire thing with a unique item inside to think about. Though we're still missing, you know, a sword to open it with.
We still need that something sharp. So yeah, at this point, we need more items. We need more swords than we need items for go mode.
And that...
I guess for no mode. Both runners, at this point, Finalflame needs Fire Rod and Bombos. OneUp needs Ice Rod and Bombo. I play inverted, so yeah. Swordless, yeah. Bombosless Pendant Ice Palace, yeah.
I could see it. Alright, and there's the compass from Argus, so
I believe there is an item on left side then.
Yeah, if a compass shows up there, there has to be. Because we did check the big chest.
So OneUp dipped out of Hera early after getting the small key. Is he going to do the same thing to Swamp? He is.
Alright, so there's another potential gamble. We'll see if that comes to hurt or hinder. Or help or hinder.
So we have OneUp going to K45 first.
You know, well, Finalflame is gonna shake the palace and head towards their Helmasaur King.
Yeah, this is not swordless. It is just unlucky. We're an hour and 2 minutes in. We are still looking for swords. And that is not a sword. That is a blue boomerang.
And it's not the ice rod in plain sight he was hoping for.
Right color. Part of it, at least.
Indeed. Looks like oneup40 maybe going to check the Bombos tablet now.
Yep, that's what it looks like. At least get the information, know if you have to come back.
Looking at this point, we will have to find at least one sword before we head into Ganon's tower, because we have to clear Skull Woods.
And we also need to open up Turtle Rock.
Just couch cash, move along.
Yep, that tablet's not needed. OneUp's gonna go check Agana. Finalflame is about to enter his Helmasaur fight.
I have a feeling that OneUp may just decide to try to knock out Desert now. Or
Yeah,
see
it's
if
awesome.
they can. Alright, 17 hammer strikes to this giant dinosaur thingy.
Surger, no, you need a sword to open Misery Mire up.
But everything else you can take care of without a sword. But you need a sword, because everybody knows, to make your coins work, you have to be holding a sword.
Unless you're swordless, but this is not swordless. Alright, Finalflame finishing off pod. That is crystal number 3.
So I guess get your guesses out there in chat. I'm curious, do you think, where is our first sword gonna turn up? Here we are at the 65-minute mark. We're still bonging around with a hammer. The hookshot shave has been checked.
Looks like Finalflame is immediately going to be heading to Swamp himself.
That's what gets reminded that he found that lamp in Mini Moldorm Cave. Wouldn't that be something if Spike K was holding onto that, holding onto a sword this time? And both runners had access, but decided to walk away.
I'm gonna say it's actually on Bumper Cave. So we still haven't seen that.
I did like a prediction of some of these predictions in chat. And I don't... Has anyone... actually, both items in Skull Woods were found on the front side. One of the runners.
For... yes, front half of Skullwoods has been checked.
And it did have both the items.
Yes.
And they were not swords.
Nope. So, yeah, you could go open Skullwoods up if you want, but you're not getting anything good.
Except for a dead moth when you find a sword to cut the vines down. His Finalflame gets his reminder that he found that ice rod in plain sight.
Sure did. Thanks, game. See if Finalflame decides to go left side swamp.
Curious to see if that ends up being the difference maker, though the fire rod is something that kind of says maybe you should go somewhere else, because that almost makes them want to do Turtle Rock, except they can't open the door.
Yeah, can't do Turtle Rock. We still need a sword and Bombos, so can't even get into it. For multiple reasons. That's technically what we're missing for Go mode, so at this point we know that Turtle Rock, unless we find the mushroom in Turtle Rock and boots are required because of Ganon Tower Big Key, Turtle Rock you can technically Go mode.
So we could be looking at the potential for a bootsless seed here, as oneup40 did put a quick end to the Land Molus. Curiosity asks, what's next on their plate?
Alright, for oneup, he might be thinking Ice Palace. He's just kind of dipping dungeons at this point. And other than that, it's going back and checking locations. He's kind of isolated now. We're checking mirror locations. We might go to Graveyard Ledge. He's going to check Checkerboard.
Oh, that's mean in chat there. Putting one sword in Hera basement and the rest in Ganon's tower.
Let's see, what does Checkerboard Cave have? That is not a sword.
No, that is just the vanilla piece of art.
Pantsuit General could go to Skullwoods, but we've already found both items on both runners' side, and so we could open up the back. We couldn't even go to Mothula.
We still need a sword to cut down the vines. I think I'm going to call this seed, we still need a sword.
And I think oneup at this point is going to Pyramid. I cannot think of anywhere else he might be going other than Pyramid Catfish.
There's nothing else they can really go through from this direction. Because, of course, if the Murderdactyl lets him leave that screen.
Finalflame just picking up their fire rod, so it also decided to start off with a left side skip. Considering item placement, it does make sense because you did find enough items to where you could feasibly skip it, but finding the compass, we'll see if he decides to come back in and check left side swamp.
It'll be interesting to see where their decision lies after having burned through all this dungeon just to be one item away. And oneup does peek over and see an ice rod. And they've decided no catfish.
Yeah, no catfish, okay.
That's
we know it's a good play.
It's another one of these gambles that oneup has kind of made their bank on in this one. Having gone into Tower of Hera to not even pick up the pendant and leave the item in the basement. Actively orphaning things.
Where's oneup going? I'm guessing is going to check. This is Bumper Cave and Graveyard Ledge check.
I think that's probably what seems to be the good thing to do.
But yeah, at this point, it is a very high likelihood we are going to see a sword go mode. Oh yeah, wait, oneup is falling back down. Did he not fully check Skullwoods?
Was he the one in here, or was it Finalflame?
I thought I saw both runners in here. No, apparently not.
No.
oneup has not checked Skullwoods yet. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the one. It was just the one runner. So he's gonna hope he finds a sword in here. Unfortunately, he's gonna find 3 bombs and 20 rupees. Meanwhile, the slideshow's almost done on Finalflame's side. There's a silver skewer in Argus. There's a compass and a decision to be made by Finalflame. Do you go back for that final item?
Yes, in my opinion, I would. I don't mind skipping left side if I have the items that kind of point to me that I might be able to skip left side. It looks like he's going to bail as well. But it's kind of that whole idea, you're leaving an item behind, and whether it's bombos or a sword.
See how that turns out. Alright, there's both items for oneup.
And we'll see if oneup also decides to do a pedestal check, but does not look like it.
Nope, I'm done with this place. I would say they'd have to cross off another plain sight item check, but they've already got their ice rod they knew about.
Yep, is gonna go check Bumper Cave. We'll see. Nope, I was wrong. It's just a heart container. Now, Finalflame, on the other hand. It looks like we are gonna get our ped checks. So, chat, it is now. Get your hype up.
Interesting to decide to do it without having bringing the portal up.
The main thing we are looking for, though, is bombos. If we do see a sword here, it is highly doubtful we are going to see the pedestal pull.
Unless, of course, that's the only, one of the only 2 available pre-TT.
Just pocket change.
Oh, rest in peace, pedestal. We hardly knew ye. So, right now we're looking at Graveyard Ledge or Ice Palace. Feels good, man. So, it looks like Finalflame may look at one of the other orphaned locations by both runners earlier. It looks like he's making a beeline for Spike Cave.
Or Hera. He also just completely skipped out of Hera.
Does have a mirror in hand, so it looks like the Tower of Hera is on their mind. Also, they'll be able to read what is on the Ether tablet.
Yeah, this kind of makes sense. Read the Ether tablet, complete Hera, and then finish with Spike Cave.
Nice solid combo.
But let's see, what does the Ether tablet hold for us? Little piece of love. So neither the tablets. So that book from Armos really not required whatsoever. Looks like oneup is going to be heading to Catfish.
No, believe it or not, this is not Swordless Week. It just happened to be swordless at 1 hour and 14 minutes.
Swordless until sword?
How long are we gonna... I mean... We have to see one to open up Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's actually the main thing that's stopping us, other than bombos. That's kind of the main thing, because we can't go to Skullwoods. So yeah, at this point, it's really... There's nothing we can find, so... Either it's in a location that's kind of been orphaned by somebody, or we're sitting in Ice Palace looking for a sword somewhere in Ice Palace.
And doesn't that feel bad, walking into Ice Palace and you don't have a sword? So that's hammer and fire rod your main bits of offense in there.
Yeah, it is gonna make for a fun cold stare fight.
There's a reason the blue mail drops in that dungeon in vanilla. Everything hurts.
So 1UP is heading back up the mountain, so at this point it's got to be thinking either Hera Basement or Spike Cave, and I'm sure is probably going to do Hera Basement at this point. Yes, 1UP did kill Landmo.
Looks like I just did not quite get marked. Buttons sometimes don't like to do their thing. And are we seeing oneup40 making a return for that basement check? Wow.
He is. Might be worried about it, just thinking when you had access to it, did my opponent actually run this?
Those asking, yes, the Scam King was checked. And while we're taking a coffee break and about to get a second coffee break, give these guys a follow on Twitch if you have not already do so. They're putting themselves out there for your entertainment and mine, playing a match that doesn't have any playoff implications in the Link to the Past Randomizer League, but trying to take another win for their team, whether it be the Immortals or Team Kappa.
Finalflame taking down Troll Dorm. Gets the key. And thinks about it, and then it's like, I'm gonna fall. And then mirrors. Alright, so Hera Basement. Fire Rod not doing what it needs to do. Just a heart container. The hunt for the sword begins. Or continues.
It's the hunt for Sharp October. And we continue on. 1UP gonna read their tablet and be disappointed. Just having a little bit of fun with their hook shot while they wait.
Practice those iframes.
Alright, now it's time for a long walk through a spiked cave. Now you see him, now you don't. And there we have it, $20! What value? So, Ice Palace?
I think all we have left is Ice Palace and Left Side Swamp now. And
Oh
that's
boy.
pretty much it for both runners. Finalflame just has Spike Cave. Yep, 1UP is going to go to Ice Palace.
Alright, so a whole bunch of bad scenarios run through. We're kind of narrowed it down to the least fun thing that I can think of. Let's go to Ice Palace with, just the fire rod and a hammer.
And I guess the nice fun thing, some cash is in plain sight. The fun thing to think about as well, if you find an early sword, you know that there is a unique item sitting in Misery Mire. Do you leave?
Ooh. That's a rough scenario brought up by chat, thinking of all this Ice Palace being for nothing, and that left side swamp is your mushroom, and boots lead you to the first sword in desert.
That is not very nice. There's a key. So that makes routing Ice Palace a lot easier.
And Finalflame stopping to pick up some blue potions.
And this makes sense because you know that you're going to have to use all of your fire rod shots to break Cold Stare out if you end up going all the way to Cold Stare. And that gives you the fire rod as a potential weapon. So if you're not completely comfortable with fighting Cold Stare with hammer, or just in case, because it is Cold Stare, that fight, anything can happen, especially when you do not have any kind of a high level sword.
Everybody's out there looking for something. In this case, swords.
I was like, the hint tile is not wrong. I'm sure they were hoping to more of a hint towards something sharp.
You know, it's been a while since I've even seen a something sharp hint, now that I think about it.
And now the fun part, setting up the Ice Palace bomb jump with no sword. Or OneUp says no, absolutely not.
That's enough of this shenanigans.
Yeah, we need sword and bombos for both runners. So 2 sword upgrades and a bombos medallion will put us into go.
So here we sit, both crossing our way through Ice Palace, both desperately hoping that maybe there's something sharp in this cold, forsaken place. A check to be made here on one upside. They're a little bit of ahead in the Ice Palace dive. And there's our final bottle of this seed.
Number 4.
And next check is the big key.
So Finalflame isn't a full dungeon behind. He just has to go back in and kill blind. So not a huge amount of time, but it is time that he does technically have to make up. And it looks like he is also just going to say no to the bomb jump. Still no sword. I was gonna say, we're positive this isn't a swordless seed. I'm like, wait a second, we're in Ice Palace and I haven't seen any medallions on the floor, so yes, indeed. Compass. Sturdy hacks, it depends on how you practice the bomb jump. If you practice it with your sword as your setup, then yes, it can be very difficult. But if you're practiced using the shadow, then it really doesn't.
It depends on how you've practiced your Ice Palace bomb jump, or you can be like me and don't have a clue. I'll just watch and enjoy the people that can do this. And shoutouts to those of you that are putting in a lot of time for this fun game and hope to see you on some restreams or perhaps in a future league. One item left to find. He almost looks like a pen gator hanging out with the pen gators.
Kind of, yeah.
Alright, he does get the hookshot clip. And that's a small key. Which I think we had to find.
Yes.
So the final item is on Cold Stare.
Could Cold Stare be holding our sword?
This also tells you that the key logic expected you to have this Cane of Samaria.
Chat makes a good point. I think he has a green potion still, though. But he doesn't have enough magic currently to break Cold Stare. But I'm pretty sure he has a green potion that was picked up.
And you should still have the green potion from the beginning of the game.
Yep, there it is. Gets a couple hammer strikes on all 3 of them.
Nice, be careful. They kind of put him into a corner.
1 puff down. And we got Golden Sonic.
Has to be very thankful to have found that red mail just before diving into this fight. Final puff down, and there we have it. 1 hour, 24 minutes. We finally have a sword on Cold Stare.
Thanks, Cold Stare.
And he thought about noping out of that pendant too, but decided, I'll take the refill this time.
shot sure did require a bomb.
You found that in Hype Cave quite a while ago.
So that unlocks...
Nothing.
Skullwoods is open to us. There's no items there, but it is our other... Oh wait, no, we still have Turtle Rock, so no, that's not required. Yeah, Misery Mire is the play now. Has to be.
Yeah, that's where more items, that's where the items are, as Skullwoods does nothing. So it looks like we have 2 required pendant dips here. And sad day for you Bird Toss fans, none to be seen here.
The other thing Chad is bringing up, it's still there, left side swamp. Both runners did skip.
Yes. A single item on left side swamp or Misery Mire. What is going to be the key for this seed today? We're still looking for the Bombos Medallion and another sword to put us in official go mode. Meanwhile, Finalflame trying to burn down their cold stare puffs. Not the most accurate with his fire rod shots, sadly, but we're into the hammer. Feels good to have that red mail, though.
And one of the puffs is down.
Hold still, you pink punks! The hammer hitbox is definitely a thing.
Yep, and can take another hit from the puffballs, but yep, gonna use that second blue he picked.
Or he's looking at burning his fairy.
And now it's just gonna finish them both off with some fire rod.
Alright, and down goes Cold Stare, and that's Finalflame's first sword. 1 hour, 27 minutes in.
And I'm not sure if those were rage slashes or if those were happy slashes.
Perhaps a combination of both.
Roxas, you are correct. They did get that hint.
The real question is, are we ever going to see the payoff for that hint?
I don't know. I'm thinking we might not see it.
Part of me says one of the other set, maybe a second sword or something's hidden behind that desert palace.
Yeah, that's another thing that's possible as soon as we find the mushroom. But I don't believe. I know Mathgirl brought this up. I don't believe mushroom can actually be in GT because desert palace with the small key, technically, you can complete it. But it's still, I believe it's considered boots locked by logic because you could be silly and grab the key and then use it to open the items up instead of actually going back to the boss. So the dungeon by logic is still boots locked.
And one of those things where the logic assumes that you are going to do the dumbest things possible with your keys, which is why Blind the Thief can't have the key for the second room. And
there's Bombos.
And there's our unique item payoff from that hint we found on Spectacle Rock way at the beginning of this seed.
Alright, so we are technically in go mode as far as being able to clear crystals, but we still need one sword to complete this game.
Master Sword is required to do damage to Ganon. Meanwhile, Finalflame with their Fighter Sword is going to go ahead and get back on... try to be as close to on-script with this blind fight as they can. Now with red mail, I mean, the fireballs are going to do 1 heart, but blind doesn't hurt nearly as much. Alright, and there's redemption for Finalflame.
Yeah, interesting thing that chat brings up is 1UP is going right to Turtle Rock. Skullwoods doesn't have an item, but it is still a crystal, so this means he is going to have to make another trek up the mountain just to get to GT.
Well, such is life, potentially.
And Finalflame is actually going to go and just clear Mothula right away at this point, too.
And it's something you are going to have to do. Doesn't have to worry about the basement chest at all. We know that both items were found and they were junk. Alright, the real question is, will another sword turn up in Turtle Rock? Or do we have to dive through 2 things? Oh. Huh.
So if I believe I read that, that's where we have technically 2 unique items. I thought I saw Mushroom and Big Red Bomb.
So Mushroom and Single Arrow in Big Red Bomb.
Yeah.
So,
well, at least we know
Boots...
how to get the boots.
Sorry, Boots fans. Probably not going to invest the time at this point, as you will already have all 7 crystals, basically, before you have access to the boots.
There's a 1 in 22 chance that you might still have to go do it anyways.
Wouldn't that be something? But I don't think you... I think you go to GT before you turn in a Big Red Bomb at this point.
Yeah, you maybe just peek at GT and check to see... check the torch right away, and if you see that, then you just go grab the boots before going back. Because you're still needing a... Oh, never mind. You were needing a sword. There we go.
Alright, so there's Master Sword in one of the very first checks of Turtle Rock. So with that, we are in a bit of a Schrodinger skill mode, as we don't know if we need those boots yet. But I think at this point, I don't think oneup is going to do any check in here that is not required.
I don't know, you might still check chests just looking for a tempered sword at this point. Anything that's on the way. Just because it will technically save time if you do find a tempered sword. And there's really not many locations left for the tempered sword outside of GT.
This really depends on how confident you are in your Master Sword Ganon. At this point, with that Bombos and sword locations, maybe you feel behind, or maybe you just feel that your opponent was forced to do the same thing too. And I'll leave that more of a feeling to you, who's done a lot more racing than I have.
I guess I would feel kind of the seeds kind of push you to do the same things. It's kind of been a fairly linear seed. You got the bow and everything, go to Eastern Palace, Paw, you got your mirror, that pretty much led you only to Swamp and Mirror locations. Then at that point you had Fire Rod, that really only gave you items in Ice Palace. You got your sword, go to Mire, so it's kind of been pretty linear at this point, once we got to the Dark World.
Perhaps he feels a little bit behind, as it took him a little bit longer to find that Moon Pearl?
Yeah, and even then I wouldn't think it's that big of a time loss.
Chat bringing up a good point. Finalflame did take care of Skullwoods, but has not yet invested their time into Misery Mire to pick up the Bombos medallions. He's going to go ahead and check a couple mirror lock locations he did not already check.
Okay, I thought oneup was going to forget about this, but at first he skipped the big chest, and that could have... Never mind. Oh, he needs magic, never mind. So there is a small possibility, depending on key placement, that he may have to come back now.
Interesting bit of routing on their side.
Because we're about to go to the Crystal Roller Room. If this is not a key and there is not a key on Laser Bridge, he does have to come all the way back to the big chest. That's just 10 arrows.
Oof.
I mean, granted, it is a 16% chance, so it's not, the greatest chance, but the chance is still there, and that is a awfully big time loss if you have to go all the way back for just the big chest. Then you can mirror, but still, that is time spent.
Alright, that means going through this dark maze again. Speaking of this Dark Mage, he needs to be careful. He's down to 3.5 hearts.
Yeah, it does have a fairy, so if he for some reason he would take a death, he'll come back. But obviously, you probably don't want to use that fairy until absolutely necessary.
And now he also can't set up the quick exit without ruining his potential for that big chest. So he has to make sure he takes he takes care of this hard hat beetle. So walking down, he has a long walk back to that big chest if it has his key.
Yes, he does. Let's see, 4 chests. That is a Cane of Burna. There's our Quake Medallion. Nope,
Right.
there's our key. Okay.
Yeah, just go ahead and check the final chest. Compass. Hoopty. And with that, Finalflame is into Misery Mire, so they'll have their Bombos coin in just a moment. And despite oneup taking a little bit longer to get into the Dark World, at this point, as we near the entrance to Ganon's Tower, it's looking to be a oneup's race.
Well, oneup still does have to leave and go get Skull Woods, which isn't going to take too much time, but he's still going to have to climb Death Mountain all over again. So, oneup's probably still got a little bit of a lead, because depending how Finalflame routes Misery Mire, which if you do typical routing, it's literally going to be the last chest he's going to check.
He may do what oneup did and not do the cutscene chest. Get out of the way, Stelphos. Nice fairy drop.
Yeah, very nice.
And that's the end of the Ice Head on Trinex. Now it's hammer time with Trinex. And down they go. With that, oneup40 now has to run into Skull Woods.
Hopefully he remembers and he doesn't just try to bolt right to GT.
Well, if he does, he'll just be greeted with nothing happening. Alright, and Finalflame is going to go ahead and orphan that cutscene chest, which will be good for them. As we know, it's nothing that we're interested in this seed.
Nope, he's fully aware.
Instant dead rock hug, how you doing? Alright, and with that, oneup40 is heading over to Skull Woods.
Then Finalflame, I'm going to check big chest, and the chest right after is going to pick up Bombos, and I'm sure is probably just going to bolt immediately and hopefully go to Turtle Rock.
At this point, you pretty much, I would think you would have to. So I'm pretty did we, because I'm sure we saw, did we see both items in here?
I'm actually not sure if we saw both items, but yep, it's like, nope, don't care.
I got what I needed, I'm out. Alright, with that, oneup's just gonna walk back and have a tangle with a giant moth.
And Finalflame is going to pick up some potions first. Might not be too comfortable because kind of been showing a little bit of hesitation using hammer. On some of these boss fights might be a little bit hesitant to do hammer trying. More deep than oneup. Didn't mark at least one of the items because there are only 2 items in Mire, and we know the Bombos medallion was there at the very least.
Alright, torch puzzle complete, oneup40 heading back toward his date with the Big Moth. We'll come in a little bit better equipped than Finalflame did with having the Master Sword in hand.
Just kind of waits to bait the Wall Master out.
And let's see how cooperative it is. And while we're doing this, I suppose that means at the end of this, we get to do something, don't we?
Yeah, we do get to play a game. Not yet, chat. Gotta wait. So don't put them in yet. We know you're eager because you really didn't get to do it last week.
Finally pulling out his hammer to go just smack that moth, and down it goes. And with that, get your guesses in chat, folks. Between 1 and 22 locations is the item of the big key. Is the location of the Ganon's Tower big key? If you are a sub or a supporter of the Speed Gaming Network channels, between that means a subscription or a donation of 250 bits or more to any of those channels, you have a chance to get on the leaderboard for the Link to Pass Randomizer League. Sir Link a lot. What do you got?
Number 1.
Well, normally I go for 17, but somebody sniped me, so this time I picked 5.
Yeah, I'm saying number 1 because I'm assuming they're going to check Torch first. So actually, I won't pick a number. I'm just going to say Torch because it could be number 3. Or they check it and it's in the first chest, because what this seed has made them do with no sword, I do feel bad about that.
There has been, we did go, what, an hour and 24 minutes without a sword in this seed?
Yes.
We found our first, just to give you an idea where we went to, our first sword was on Cold Stare.
After 5 crystal dungeons were completed.
Yep. At least we didn't have to do Trinex swordless. Really,
not required in this mode. There's Finalflame's Master Sword. He is officially in go mode.
Well, the hopeful go mode. You hope for no boots. But you know where they are!
Yeah, at least you know where the boots are.
That's right, Fury Agent. First sword on Cold Stare, hour and 24 minutes, and after we had like 2 dungeons left.
A pendant Cold Stare, too.
Yes. Alright, the crystals have spun, the swords have descended. Get your guesses in, the game's just about to end. Alright, folks, here we go, and 1UP is going right side. Check number 1, small key. Number 2, 10 sticks. And looks like...
Go left side, or right side. We're not going to worry about the torch just yet. Fear Agent, boots are at the witch's hut. We need the mushroom, and we know the mushroom is at the Pyramid Fairy.
And the 5-6 crystals included Turtle Rock, our final dungeon. Because of course it does. Making our way into the room with our friend the Gibdos. Alright, here we go. Number 3, 20 rupees. Number 4, piece of heart. Number 5, his fire shield. Number 6, 20 rupees.
Alright, time for the torch.
Alright, here we go. Lucky number 7. What do we have today? That's a small key. Boots not required. Rest in peace, you double fetch quest boots.
The dream was there, chat, but we're sorry. Oh, Finalflame does get a key, so would be able to skip Laser Bridge.
Alright, that's 8 3 bombs. 9 half magic. 10 a piece of heart. 11 small key. We're gonna keep going. Ooh, the puns. Number 12, piece of heart.
Now, I wonder if Finalflame will still check Laser Bridge for a sword.
I think you probably... Maybe you feel behind and don't. Alright, number 13 in the room of fire snakes. That's our Ganon's Tower big key!
And who was our winner today? Uh-oh, did the bot break?
I don't think that's a... No!
Oh no, the bot broke! It's hard to tell who won because of that as well.
Well, that's unfortunate, as the bot seems to have fallen asleep. I can at least give credit for getting it correctly on Hell Resident 666, but they admitted that they are not able to, they are not a sub or supporter. But I'm still going to give you some internet points for getting it right. In the meanwhile, oneup40 is going to go ahead and start their climb of the gauntlet.
Yep. The bot is just completely broken.
Rip. Rest in peace, Speed Gaming Keybot. We hardly knew ye. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and finish our ascent of the tower on oneup side. Ice be darned. While meanwhile, Finalflame is making quick work of their Trinex fight.
Yep, down it goes. So that is crystal number 7 for Finalflame.
And with that, they're on their way to GT. Perhaps the left side route helps make up a bit of time, but at this point it looks to be firmly in oneup40's hands. Oh, the satisfaction that is taking care of 3 wizrobes in one block.
I like how chat's like, as long as nobody wins, it's not Fear Agent, which, if I'm not mistaken, going back and looking at it, I know it's the lowest, or if nobody guesses accurately, it is the person who was next that did not go over Price is Right rules. And going back and looking at it, that was actually probably Fear Agent, it looks like.
But shoutouts to Puzzle Master with the cheer, 250 bits. Thank you for keeping the lights on here at Speed Gaming. When we are getting a thing that first person to closest to checks wins. So it looks like Fear Agent, you're a witch, but the bot doesn't like you. I'm sorry. Alright, so continuing on our tower climb here.
no sword, though.
Unless it's in Moldorm's last possessions here. And with that, down goes Moldorm. A little bit of an early fire, and there we have it! A Moldorm chest tempered sword.
About time game.
And you're probably right. I'm gonna call it the fourth sword is in left side swamp. Alright, and here we are into our geometry test of the lead. Only getting the single there. Blue ball's trolling him a bit there. We're still at 1. And there's our second shot. Not a great pattern here. There's number 3.
That's a pretty decent pattern. Got a double, I think.
Hard to tell on that one.
Nope, that was only a single then, so I believe
One more
ball
hit
will do it.
And he had set up for 3 more to hit him. And with that, the king of all bacon is on the loose, and we're heading into a date with Ganon.
Thankfully, we got that tempered sword. It's going to be nice and easy compared to Master Sword. No spins today. Maybe some spins.
As we get some hot air balloon facts by Ganon. Taking inventory here, we have red mail, tons of hearts, half magic, finally a tempered sword, so I don't think this fight will give us too much trouble. As we get that nice corner spin set up by oneup40.
Yep, those spins.
Does get smacked by a fireball on the way out. Kind of cornered themselves into another one there. Now, if Ganon would just hold still. Alright, there's number 2.
Ganon thinking there's no way they could beat him. He hit the swords too well. Well, we still found 3 of them.
And did we find the silver arrows in the Dark World? You betcha. Have 2 of them!
Gets Torch Glitch as well?
Execution, definitely the strong suit here of this seed.
And that will do it as long as OneUp can make it across the bridge.
And with that, the king of all bacon has slain just a 1x3 bridge is all that separates OneUp between him and victory for Team Kappa. And with it, I'm happy to announce that oneup40 has finished this race in first place with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 39 seconds. Get your GGs to them.
GG. This was a 7,000 series train. I don't know. No boots, lack of swords. I don't know if I can agree with that statement.
It'd be tough pressed to sit out. So, what are your thoughts on that seed, Sir Link?
The seed was mean to them, and it wasn't commentator's fault. We did not curse them whatsoever.
Despite the fact that I threatened to do so in the IRC beforehand, just the main thing is being I'm not really feeling kind of the seed felt kind of dull, I guess. It took us a long time to find out where those something sharps were.
It was kind of, well, we pointed out, it sounded or looked like it was a very linear seed once we got to Dark World, because got the access from the hook shot in Hype Cave, and pretty much there was nothing else available. that took you to the mountain to get the bow, which took you to Eastern Pod for Mire, to Swamp, to Ice, to Mire, to finish off, Skull Woods, go to Turtle Rock, and that was pretty much it. It was just kind of go from dungeon to dungeon, pretty much in sequence.
Yep. Oh, I definitely. Now I think I'm going to go ahead and pull 1UP into the interview booth. GG's to you, 1UP, and I hope after that you've sharpened up your swordless skills a little bit.
Thanks. Yeah. I was actually getting kind of worried for a while there. Like while I was playing, went back and looked at the download page for the seed. I was starting to think like maybe the last week was swordless. I had just completely missed that in the schedule or something. So yeah, like I went back to the download page, made sure like it was randomized swords, not swordless, and sure enough, finally found one.
And if it makes you feel better, most of the chat was asking that question for a lot too.
So, aside from the whole being swordless for 12 ever, how did you feel about that seed?
That was a pretty interesting seed. I don't think I've ever had the first sword hidden that bad. And then on top of that, like, having Bombos be locked by that sword, like, it was something else.
Absolutely, and just to call out that all that execution, definitely top notch, having to go so long without that sword. Just the execution, really, what clutched the seed out for you, despite the fact it took you a little bit longer to find that moon pearl.
Yeah, I don't know. There were probably a few places that I could have cleaned up, especially after forgetting to do the back of Skull Woods before I went to Turtle Rock. That was a pretty big mistake. Yeah.
And then, I mean, to kind of put in perspective there, both of you chose to go for the hammer. So I guess I want to question you is, why did you choose to go for the hammer blind fight over the Cane of Samaria?
Yeah, it was kind of up in the air when I started to do it. I guess probably hammer, I've practiced a little more, like for inverted and stuff. And sometimes it can be hard, like it can take a long time sometimes to try to get Cane blocks to hit him. Like sometimes he does a good job dodging them, so I just decided to go with the hammer instead.
And with that kind of put one of the differences in the seed is Finalflame wasn't able to complete the hammer blind fight on the first shot.
Yeah, I mean, it can be pretty rough, because, I mean, you're just sitting there vulnerable for so long when you're recoiling from the hammer, and there's just so much stuff going on that, like, any of it can just hit you while you're sitting there completely unable to move after the hammer comes down, so...
Absolutely, so we're just about running out of time here, as we do have to make way for the Final Fantasy I Randomizer League a little bit after this, but just a final thought, or just a thought on the league in general?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun in the league this year. Unfortunately, I think we're going to end up right outside the line that we need to make it to the playoffs, but it's been a lot of great races, and I had a lot of great fun. So thanks to everyone who helped organize this, and thanks to you guys for commentating the seed as well, and to the tracker and the restreamer and everyone that made this happen tonight.
All right, just I'd like to thank you as always, for joining us in the interview booth. As just a few more swings here on Ganon to take care of.
Oh no, it takes a fall.
As he shows his frustration to the having taken that Ganon fall. I like that rhythmic bomb dropping is not more than one bomb was ever on the screen. All right, here we go. Here we are in for round 2. Hopefully this time the teleports will be a little less troll for us.
Still gets that nice corner set up.
He's gonna go ahead and use his cape with the half magic and the blue potions that he's holding on to. Definitely.
Alright, back to phase 3 though. Ganon seems like he wanted to teleport all over the place at first, but there's a nice quick one. And another nice quick one. Ganon, please.
Ganon, please.
Thank you, Ganon.
Just please accept your fate. Did you find the arrows in the dark world? You bet. Why don't you have one?
We tried to give one to you earlier, but you pushed us off the edge.
Gonna have to go for that blue potion. He doesn't have enough to light the second torch.
It's a little too close.
It's the one of the unfortunate mechanics of the fire rod is that it can't light things immediately in front of it.
Should be a double. Oh.
That was something.
Extra slash for good measure. Puts one in Ganon's backside.
Alright, and with that, the fanfare plays. The king of all bacon is down. Finalflame just has a 1x3 bridge to cross, and they will have finished this seed for Team Immortals and their final race of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. What's the time, Sir Link? You got it?
Let me see. It is. He finishes with an official SRL time of exactly what you see on the screen. 2 hours, 2 minutes, 14 seconds. So please get your GGs in chat.
Absolutely. What a race it was indeed. A tough seed. Swords not to be seen for quite a while. Unfortunately, we do have to make our way for Final Fantasy 1, so we won't get to pull him in for an interview. But nonetheless, get your GGs in chat for him, folks. If you haven't already done so, give these guys a follow. What a race they put on for you today. A shout outs to the commentary crew, myself, Sir Link a lot, and the tracker, Math Girl, keeping us in line. Make sure if you haven't already done so, check out all the information of the Link to the Past Randomizer League on ALTTPRleague.com. So you can also join the Discord, check out the VODs if you will. Lots of fun stuff. There's lots of fun matches coming up later on this week. Stacked days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Saturday being the big day in this division. Sir Link, any final thought?
No, it was a fun seed to commentate, fun seed to watch, even though, no playoff implications or anything like that. Still just kind of fun races. More randomizer you're never going to complain about.
Absolutely not. And with that, that was Sir Link a lot. I am Punjay to the Tree, and with that I will say you good night and good rando.